this is the United States. And this is the earthquake we were just looking at right there, just as a point of reference. Now, I'm going to blank that out so you can see this perfectly. Remember, the earthquake is right down in here. But we need to turn the Earth. Okay. This is Florida here on the left side now. But our earthquake was right down here. And the reason I turned the Earth is to show you this. In the center of the plate. This five-sided thing here. In St. Louis, there's another one. And it's ancient. It goes back 400 years or more. And now it's being made into, it's here on the north side of St. Louis. It's still in the streets. The streets still show the shape of it, but it's on old maps as well. An old bastion fort, the same size now, or the same shape, the five-sided pentagonal star-like shape or arrow-like shape. But this building in the middle, that right here, is a housing project from the government. But this is the new geospatial agency for the U.S. government for all the mapping to be done in the world, mapping of the topography. And this is the old bastion fort from the French, and it's still in the shape of the streets there. And that's on the backside of this giant 300-mile-long one here. And the military base in the middle and in the tip. In the cities on all five sides. This is five-sided pentagonal. Now, why does this matter? This matters because of the earthquake. The earthquake happening on the side of it. And it's significant. It's a near 3. It's the first 3 in Missouri in many months. Well, why does it matter if we have an earthquake on the side of a five-sided pentagonal star fort shape? And that it's 300 miles long? Well, let's go and look at one other thing. Let's look at the earthquakes on the South Pole, which we don't get a feed on. We don't actually get a view of the earthquakes at Antarctica, but we get everything around Antarctica. So when you look at Antarctica, you've never been shown this by anyone, I guarantee it, unless you're a viewer of mine. You'll see earthquakes on the left side of Antarctica, the way we're looking at it here, and on the right side of Antarctica. But what I want you to do is to look at the outside edge of the plate boundary that makes up Antarctica itself. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is my copy of Earthquake 3D, but let's go over to Google and look at what they have for Antarctica here and look at it the same way. I'll be darned. It's showing the same thing, which is the outside edge of Antarctica is the same five-sided pentagonal star fort, bastion fort shape, but it's not 300 miles long. If you go down here and go to the middle of the plate boundary, you'll find that right here along the plate boundary, they took some ships out here to get high-resolution imagery of this volcano out in the middle of nowhere. And that volcano is right there on the very middle backside of this five-sided star fort shape. And if you go from that volcano right through the middle of Antarctica, out to the very tip of it out here, look where you go through. The South Pole. This is the exact South Pole here on Google, which they don't show you a very good shot of. You can zoom in and click on the pictures. Anyway, so if you measure from the plate boundary, where they took all this time to come out here and scan the heck out of this freaking volcano that's not, it doesn't even have a name on it. But I'll do it for you, because this is going to blow your mind. Get ready. So we go through the South Pole, and by the way, Google is adjusting for the curvature of the Earth. So you can't say that this is like, a linear measurement that's gone wrong or something. We go right through the middle of the South Pole, and we come out to the tip. Whoops, the curvature of the Earth kind of messes with this. See how it bends it over the South Pole, even though I just drew it over the South Pole? Anyway, we go out to the tip of here, and we go down to the plate boundary at the furthest point right here, or here. There we go. The furthest point at the break at the tip, and look at what our mileage is. 6,660 miles. Now, what's our elevation? At this point, we are negative 12,000 feet, but it goes deeper. We go down to the bottom of the ridge. 13.5, 13.6, 13.6, 13.7. Trying to find it. Let's zoom in some more. There we go. 13.760. Look at our mileage now. At the deepest part of the trench. So the top is 6,660 miles, and then it's a 6-mile long descent down to the bottom. And the actual measurement from the backside, and I'm not fudging this at all. Look, it's 6,666 miles from that volcano at the backside all the way out to the tip. And I could not believe it when I measured this. I was like, oh, uh-oh. I'm not into that numerology thing or anything. I'm not superstitious or anything. But you start finding crap like this, dude, it's going to it'll grow hair on your chest when you start seeing it in your own backyard, and you've got a 5-sided pentagonal star fort shape. Now, guess what's on the left side of here? I already showed you St. Louis, and I already told you about the military bases in the middle. Guess what's over here on the left side? Well, let me turn on my borders and labels and show you. Right here is a quaint little town called New Madrid, Missouri. Okay. Now, as if that wasn't enough, next to New Madrid is this. Small one. A small one, 6 miles by 9 miles. Small one. But when I show this first, and this is not from farming, guys. This rises, let's see, 150 feet. This whole thing is 150 feet high. It's 6 miles by 9 miles. And it used to overlook, like a bastion fort would, over the river, the Mississippi River. But somebody a long time ago built this. And I dare say the French and the Spanish didn't have earth-moving equipment to build 150-foot high, 6 mile by 9 mile long star forts. But nonetheless, this is next to the town of New Madrid, and this is a microcosm, a small version, of the big one. And the big one points to something. The big one here in the United States, if you go right through the tip of it, it points out in a direction well, here, let me show you. It points to the West Coast, doesn't it? Again, I'm trying to get through the center there. Pretty good. You see it's going pretty good right through the center there, right through Muskogee. And where does it take us? It takes us down to Baja, California. But there's something here. The famous, and I didn't know about this until we did this measurement, came in, and this is the famous underwater weird measurement location where they tried to say it was from submarines that were in the way, or there was all kinds of excuses made that they said that this was not really there, that it was just a bathymetric image artifact. But it turns out these are actual mounds and depressions. And this is, depth is 5,000, it's a mile deep. It's 5,000 feet under sea, coming out of the plate right there, and this thing points right to it. We got the biggest earthquake in U.S. history on the left side. We got the biggest mounds in U.S. on the back right side. In the middle, you got the military base, and deliberately flooding it at Branson, and out at the tip, you got old Fort Gibson. Somebody might know, Hold on. I knew there's something about it. I knew it. So, first of all, here's our borders and labels just so you can see. There's Portland, Oregon on the lower right side. Lower right side of what? The lower right side of the 5-sided pentagonal star fort shape that makes up this thing, comes directly to a point here. I'm serious now, I'm not joking. The only thing missing is the military base in the middle or in the tip. We got the cities on either side. I'm not joking. It's there. It really is. What's in the middle? Oh, that's where the earthquake was. That's where the earthquake was. Earthquake's right in the middle. All right, so our earthquake's directly in the middle of this damn thing. Okay, there it is. You have to turn the earth backwards and upside down to see this damn thing, but it's definitely there. Wow. There's another one. I just found another one, guys. How long is that? Hold on. I got to measure it just to see how long it is, or how big it is. Okay, so from backside to tip. That's how we measure it. We measure from the back middle, like as if it's a compass arrow pointing somewhere. You see it's perfectly symmetrical, right? Just like all the others. And then we get the earthquake in the middle. Dude, seriously? 44 miles long? Here, let's just... it's give or take an inch. 44 and a half. Oh, I'm not measuring out. Oh, look, there's a city right at the tip. What is this? Exactly 45 miles if we go from tip to tip. What's the name of this place? Carson. Oh, look, they got the power lines going right through the center, too. Right through the center tip. I'm not kidding. Coming right out the center tip of it. Power lines. Show you what's up. Let's get the earthquake out of there so you can see this a little bit better. So this is really, really old. What I'm about to show you here is extremely old, and the tip is actually broken off or weathered off here at the very tip. But this is set into the plate. And this is in a certain shape that my longtime viewers should be able to recognize pretty simply if I bring it out here and do a little quick drawing for you. I'm just roughly drawing it. There's our mountain range on one side. I didn't show you that side. And here's our mountain range on the other. Again, I showed you the mountain range on this side. But over here, we're doing the same thing. The exact same thing. You got a line of mountains that's going up 1,000 feet on both sides. It connects back into the plate back here, and then back here it's a little hard to see. Comes back to a giant dry lake bed and bends back up this way. It's 5-sided. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's another one on the other side of the plate over here that's also got the tip broken off, and that's Tasmania, the tip, by the way. And this one is doing the same thing. And it's 5-sided, comes in, comes back, comes back. There's 2 of them. One pointing this way, one pointing this way. When I say 2 of them, what am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about the same thing that makes up Antarctica, which was a topic of discussion in my last video, where here's Antarctica, the whole plate. And these are the plate boundaries, marked by Google Earth even. And you can see, here's the center continent, of course, but the plate boundaries make a 5-sided 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it comes out to a pinnacle tip in the Indian Ocean here. And this is, again, it's 5-sided, it's a pentagon. And then you find that the plates themselves have these built into them, and that they're ancient.
but they're built into the plates, and I'm finding them all over the world. So, I mean, we found them in the United States. I'm just showing you so you can understand what I'm talking about with Australia with these earthquakes. So here's the one in the United States, and it points out to the very tip of the San Andreas. This is California here. Here's Baja California. Here's the Valley of California. Look at our orientation, exactly 45 degrees offset from due north. And this thing's pointing exactly that way, where the old north used to point, back before the flip. And in the middle of here is military base. Why does that matter? That's Edwards Air Force Base there in the middle of the Mojave. This five-sided thing here I've showed before many times. We've got these all over the world. Here's another one here in the Midwest United States. St. Louis is here, Kansas City is here, Tulsa, Oklahoma is here, Little Rock, Arkansas is here, and the town of New Madrid is right down here. And this five-sided thing, and in the middle of this one is a military base, Fort Leonard Wood. So we got a military base in the one out here on the west coast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Military base in the middle. We got the military base in the middle of this one here on the middle of the United States. Now what does that have to do with the one down in Australia? Well, let me show you. If we trace this line back over to here, you see it flares out and comes over to an edge, and it flares out and comes back, okay? It actually comes out, goes out, back, back. What's over here? Take a look. Let me see if I can find it by just zooming in. Hold on. There we go, bring it back proper north. Exmouth. The Exmouth VLF antenna array, hexagon array, here at the very tip of the edge of the backside of the star fort shape. Comes all the way back, and it's right out there at the back tip. This matters because we've got another one on the other side of the planet, over here. Here's the United States. Here's Florida. Here's Nunavut. Out off the east coast, here's California on the bottom side, and on the top side is Newfoundland. Now, this is a giant triangular shape, and these two match. Alaska and Mexico match what's down in Australia. We've got the same thing going on both sides of the plate. We have pinnacle tips. One's fractured apart, Nunavut, and this one is not. That's Florida. Now look what's down at the tip of Florida. A giant hexagon star fort that was built. We're told it was built during the Civil War, and it's actually built in the Byzantine style, and it's literally out here in the ocean. Let me show you. Look at this. They busted holes in here in the Civil War to put cannons in. They found this thing. This thing was already here. It wasn't built by the Spanish either. Literally, the cover story on this is that it was built during the Civil War to protect the Gulf of Mexico. Okay, now, I hate to bring that up because the only reason I have to bring it up is because it's hexagon-shaped. It's a military base. It's on the ocean. It's on the edge of a giant star fort made by some ancient civilization. And then there's earthquake next to it, too, by the way, down at Cuba. And then we get over here and we get to Australia, and we got earthquake on the backside of it. So that's where your swarm is. Your swarm is between the ancient Tartarian star fort and the very low-frequency antenna array that the U.S. Navy has built there. Well, the navies of the world have built there. I know it sounds a little far-fetched, but there it is. I mean, you'd have to tell me that's all chance. The hexagon arrays, the shapes of the plates, that all there just by chance? No way. By side, Facebook and Apple data centers. How did I know? Well, we got an earthquake next to it. What would you do if I told you that this place is mysterious? And that they built these, the Facebook and the Apple data centers, they built them there for a reason. And the reason they built them there isn't for magic or geomancy or any kind of weird occult purposes. That they built them there to get free energy. Free wireless power. And there's wireless power in the plate, and they're harnessing that and keeping it a secret from the public. Now, to see what I'm talking about here, here's the earthquake epicenter, and literally the Facebook Apple data center is right next to it. Now, you'll notice there's a giant airport here with a big letter X shape. Okay, that's not a coincidence either, because when I back that out, you'll see that that big letter X shape is smack in the middle of what looks like a triangular shape. Now, you might not think anything, it doesn't mean anything, and this big crater-like shape that's on the back right-hand side of this triangular shape that has the Facebook and Apple data center in the center of it with the weird X-shaped airport next to it, and that's all just chance and coincidence, that this shape is just chance and coincidence, and that this big crater on the back right side is coincidence, and that this is coincidence that that's in the tip. But if I showed another one to you, this one is much more pronounced. And this one here is in the classic bastion fort shape. The problem is that it's 300 miles long, and on the backside, right side of it, isn't a crater. Well, I guess you could call it a crater. This is the Grand Canyon here, the whole Grand Canyon. So the Grand Canyon is on the backside of this one, and what's in the middle of this one? Edwards Air Force Base, with its weird X marks the spot in the middle of the desert. Edwards Air Force Base, right there in the middle of it. This thing, this giant bastion fort shape. So now wait a second. We've got this one with Edwards Air Force Base in the middle. And we've got this one over here that I just showed you with the crater on the backside and Facebook data center in the middle. Well, is there one in between? You bet there is. It's been weathered down over time. And where the two meet, where this one meets this one, right in here, we have Area 51 and the nuke test sites. Anyway, don't want to get too far into that. Well, what about the one in the middle? Again, if you have to look a world away to see it. Here, Edwards Air Force Base in the middle. This one, Facebook in the middle. Crater on the backside. Grand Canyon on the backside. The one in the middle here has Salt Lake City on the backside. And it comes up to a pinnacle point here between Lake Tahoe and Pyramid Lake. And guess what's there? Take a look. The Sierra Army Ammo Depot with all its bunkers at the pinnacle tip of that one. This one's a little harder to see. It's weathered down over time, but it's there. There's also a giant crater there between Lake Tahoe and Pyramid Lake. And you can now see where they come together, where the two lines come together in the desert themselves, going through Pyramid Lake. This is called Pyramid Lake, by the way. And at the tip of Pyramid Lake is the Sierra Army Ammo Depot and this giant crater. The ammo depot is there. The giant crater is here. This is lined with volcanoes and hit with earthquakes around the outside edge. I talk about it regularly in all my updates. So why am I taking the time to show that all to you? How about the earthquakes? We're getting earthquakes down below the tip of each one of these. So let's go back and talk about this back up here, the one that you might have just shrugged your shoulders at first and just kind of laughed when I showed you the Facebook data center and the Apple data center. So we got an earthquake below the tip of that, right? It's indisputable. That's what we're talking about now. That's where the earthquake is. It's below the tip of it, right next to the data center. Now, right here is the giant caldera where we get all the earthquakes and the fires and the ammo depot there. And then guess what? Guess what's at the tip of this one? Let me turn it back proper. How you normally view North America. This is the San Andreas. This is Fraser Park. This is the San Andreas, the main part that everybody always talks about. Okay. See Gorman, Fraser Park. This is. So this thing points to the San Andreas, this giant 300-mile-long bastion fort or whatever you want to call it. And it was made by someone a long time ago, and there's earthquakes striking down below the tips of each of these. There's a military base built in the middle of each of these. And then this one over the far right, technically it's Facebook. So military, everybody says it's military industrial complex Facebook. I don't know. But Facebook and Apple, oh, I just got shut off. My internet just got shut off.